Welcome to Making a Murderer, the Rubberducky channel.
Dispatch. Okay, I talked to Mr. Cago's answering services on.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we are at Avery Salvage.
Okay.
Okay, and we're searching for the vehicle.
Right.
For Teresa Hellbuck. We have found a RAV4. What color specifically was her RAV4? And do you have a VIN number? This vehicle is
green.
all... Okay, this... I don't know, this is like a...
801.
bluish green. Okay, do you have the ID number?
Hold on.
It's a VIN number.
Hold on. 801. Can you call dispatch right away? Do we have a VIN number?
Okay, the VIN number. It's not on the side, Nick. Go on the other side.
Hold on. Here's Jerry.
Hi, this is Sheriff Hoggle.
Oh, Sheriff Hoggle. Hi, this is Pam Sturm. I'm on the search for Teresa Hellbuck, and we found a RAV4.
You did?
It's a bluish green, though. It's more blue than green. We just wanted to know if you got the VIN number for that vehicle.
Yes, we do. We do have a VIN number.
Don't
Can we get the VIN number?
I can't find it on the...
Where is the vehicle at?
I'm at Avery Salvage.
Okay.
It is all covered up.
It's all covered up?
Not all covered, but it's got a lot of stuff on it. Branches.
I don't have my glasses. Okay, branches over it?
Yeah. Where's the VIN number on something like this?
Well, the VIN number would probably be on the windshield or underneath, on the dash, driver's side.
Yeah, the driver's side, Nick.
Looks through the front window.
Through the front window.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you Investigator Wiggert. He's got the VIN number here.
Can you imagine looking for your cousin's car parked somewhere hidden amongst 3,900 other vehicles in an area measuring over 50 football fields? Well, Pam and Nicole were able to locate the RAV4 in under 20 minutes, hidden on 40 acres amongst 3,900 other vehicles. Pam had Sheriff Pogle's personal cell number, a map, and a camera, all provided to her before her search. She provided a partial VIN and reported the RAV was locked. Why did she, out of all the other searchers, get given Sheriff Pogle's personal cell number? Let's just take a look at pretrial versus trial testimony. In pretrial, Pam Sturm was questioned. Question: all right, and your daughter tried to open the doors of the RAV4? Answer: that's correct. Question: and she used her sleeve? Answer: yes. Question: did either of you use tissues or anything like that? Answer: no. Question: the vehicle was locked? Answer: that's correct. Question: were all the doors tried? Answer: the two, the passenger's door and the driver's door, were tried. Question: for the front seat? Answer: pardon me? Question: for the front seat? Answer: there are only two doors. Question: oh, it's only a two-door vehicle? Answer: I believe so. Now, if we look at that, why is it that her daughter Nicole reports in her affidavit that, quote, I tried all the vehicle doors using a tissue to avoid contact, which were locked? Why does Pam state they used their sleeve? And why does Pam tell us it's a two-door vehicle? According to the state, the victim was killed inside this tiny garage and then burned in the dirt area directly behind the garage, near the propane tank and the doghouse. Why would the victim be put into the cargo of a RAV4 to take her behind the garage to the burn pit? It's right there. How did the propane tank not blow up? Why didn't the wooden garage catch fire? Steve reported he would have crushed the car if he was the killer. He had crushed a car that week, so he knew how to operate the crusher. The RAV4 was near the car crusher. Steven could have crushed the car at any time before the 3rd, even at night, as a rock conveyor down at the quarry would have deafened the sound. So also on the 5th, Eagle 3 arrived. Now, Eagle 3 did a flyover in the late afternoon. As you can see here on the sign in and out logs, we have 3:15 p.m. The Eagle 3 has arrived. Why would the flyover not have been ordered to take off early in the morning, previous to finding the vehicle? It's often asked why they would have tarped the vehicle. But I wonder if it wasn't to tamper with the evidence. They reported that the RAV4 was locked. However, what were they doing under the tarp? While standing guard over a green Toyota RAV4, I could see the sky was getting very dark and there was a mist in the air. There was talk amongst several of the officers to put a tarp over the green Toyota RAV4 to protect any possible evidence on the exterior of the vehicle. A tarp was produced and I did assist in getting objects from in the back of the other vehicles to help weigh the tarp to prevent it from blowing away. Extreme care was used by the officers to prevent the tarp from touching the green Toyota RAV4. Once the tarp was in place, Investigator Steyer notified me that my assistance was needed back at the command post. Deputy Bass did relieve me in protecting the green Toyota RAV4. I exited the crime scene area of the green Toyota RAV4 at approximately 3:10 p.m. That was reported by Tyson. So the big question here is, if the vehicle's locked, why were they under the tarp? As Eagle 3 took off to do its flyover, and the investigators tarped the RAV, at 3:30 p.m. the cadaver dog Brutus and handler Julie Kramer checked the vicinity around the crusher on Avery Salvage Yard, as well as inside the crusher. Brutus did not alert. They went further south along a fenced tree line, which was the property between the Avery property and the Randick Quarry. In the last row of cars on the Avery property containing the RAV4, Brutus alerted indicated that he had detected either human remains or human blood. At 5:35 p.m., Julie and Brutus entered the Steven Avery residence. After completing the walkthrough of the entire trailer, Brutus did not alert. There was a second worker dog named Luth, who was reported as going west in a picked cornfield. Directly to the south was a gravel pit, and in between the two was an area of brush and trees near Randick Deer Camp. Julie Kramer, Luth's handler, reported K9 Luth worked this area with indications of very strong scent. K9 Luth worked west, coming out to a cul-de-sac that was taped off with crime scene tape, and 2 deputies were not allowing access. K9 Luth crossed the tape on one occasion and then was told not to go any further. The deputies phoned Sheriff Pogel to see if I could continue, but were told to not allow anyone access at this time. Why in the world were the cadaver dogs and the scent dogs not allowed at KUSS Road? As you can see here in the background, there is a lot of activity there. Why did they have it crime scened off? What's the blue vehicle at the top? What was burned, or what is the black mark that has scorched the asphalt? In the cover of night at 8:45 p.m., John Ertl leaves the Avery Salvage Yard with the RAV4. They reported because it was locked, they could not get the vehicle out of park, and they had to take the drive shaft off in order to move it. At 1:15 a.m., Ertl arrives at the State Crime Lab with the RAV4. At 2 a.m., John Ertl secures the RAV4 at the Madison Crime Lab. It's only a 2-hour and 4-minute drive. Why did it take 4 hours and 30 minutes? Where did they stop? What were they doing when they stopped? Pam Sturm reported that the 2 doors were locked, and then John Ertl from the crime lab secured the vehicle before he left it. Yet, we have mid-morning Ronald Grofey, who is a lab tech, is called in by Lucy Meyer to do forensic analysis of the RAV4. Mr. Grofey reported the driver's side door was unlocked. Let's look at his testimony. Answer: the driver's door was unlocked when I got there. Question: okay, the other doors were locked? Answer: yes, the other doors were locked. Question: and that would be actually 4 more doors, correct, including the rear? Answer: that's correct, 4 doors. And the other investigators also reported, the doors were locked. We couldn't gain access to it, and we looked through the glass with flashlights to see what we could see inside. And it looked relatively clean inside. As you can tell, the vehicle left the salvage yard locked. It was locked when it was left at the crime lab. But in the morning, why was the driver's door unlocked when Ronald Grofey took photographs, and who unlocked it? And furthermore, why? What were they doing in the vehicle, which is evidence of a homicide? Many of us believe that this is a picture of the RAV4 at the State Crime Lab. But what if I told you it wasn't? This is actually a picture of Calumet County. And how do we know? Because of this brochure. It's a pre-architectural planning for the Calumet County Highway Maintenance Department. Yes, look at the ductwork in this room. If you look at that part of the room, it also matches a photograph right here on page 13. As you can see, it's the same ductwork. It matches exactly. So that leaves us with a question. How do we know that the RAV4 ever made it to the crime lab? The day that the State Crime Lab gets their hands on the RAV4, Mike Halbach, the victim's brother, does a press release. And he states, I quote, "No news right now is good news," he said. "They didn't find evidence of harmful acts. It's good news for us." Wasn't there blood in the RAV4 at that time? Steven had cut his finger much earlier, and it had begun to heal. However, it was broke open again and actively bleeding. And it's brought up a lot of questions in this case. If Steven wore gloves so not to leave fingerprints, then how did he leave blood from his fingers? How did his blood not absorb into the carpet, but rather become loose dried flakes which appeared sprinkled on the carpet? If Steven was actively bleeding, why is there no blood on the steering wheel, gear shift, door handle, or hood latch, like there was in his Pontiac Grand Am? Where is the mixed blood when both the suspect and the victim are actively bleeding? Wouldn't you think that at some point his blood would have mixed with hers? Opportunity and motive comes into question. Sherry Culhane was the original lab tech that processed Steven Avery's evidence and testified for the state against Steven in the 1985 case which cost him 18 years being wrongfully convicted. In 2003, Sherry Culhane's hand was forced to perform new DNA testing that exonerated Steven Avery, which led to the civil suit for a $36 million lawsuit against Manitowoc County officials. In 2005, the vehicles the suspects and the victims were both processed at the same time, in the same crime lab, and by the same analyst as 1985, Sherry Culhane. Conflict of interest factors in with Sherry Culhane. It provides suspicion regarding her role as the head lab tech, as she also was known to have the highest error rate of all other techs, and yet volunteered for complete control of all Avery and Halbach evidence. There was possible opportunity for Ms. Culhane to reverse swab the sample of Steven's fresh blood, known to be readily available in his Pontiac Grand Am, which was seized the same day. Reverse swabbing is known in the laboratory as the action of collecting a sample from the original location and relocating the sample by applying the sample to a new location. When Steven re-injured his cut finger, he bled a lot, and he reported that he bled all the way into his bathroom, and he bled into a sink. He reported, quote, like a stuffed pig. Now, he also reported that when he got home later that evening, the blood in the sink was cleaned up and gone. So who collected Steven's blood from his bathroom sink, and who tidied up after themselves? Steven also reported he smelled cigarette smoke in the back of his trailer. You have to kind of wonder, who would Steven's German Shepherd bear have trusted to enter his home, and who smoked cigarettes? Now, if you review this supplemental report from Bill Tyson, Detective Remaker did collect some of the blood that was left on the linoleum. So there's proof that it happened just as Steven said. The state prosecutor, Ken Kratz, made the statement, and I quote, "And finally on Friday the 11th, the female blood that was found, the great pool, if you will, of female blood in the cargo area, is now matched. It is determined to match the soda can, the saliva from the Diet Wild Cherry Pepsi, I believe, soda can in the front of Teresa's car. The blood is now presumed to be that of the victim, Teresa Halbach." The blood is now presumed to be that of the victim. Presumed? If it is scientifically proven, then why did the prosecutor use the word presumed? And what does he mean, the great pool, if you will, of female blood in the cargo area? Where's the great pool? Why did he lie about the great pool? In most cases, you generally see a mixture of suspect and victim DNA, but not in this case. This case is special. There is no victim and suspect DNA mixed anywhere in this case. But what is so strange is that there is only one print in the entire vehicle, which is on the door handle of the RAV, that matches the victim. Where is the victim's hair that should be available as humans naturally shed hair and would be likely found somewhere in the vehicle if she was the owner? If the victim drives her vehicle for any length of time, there should be her DNA found in many places of the RAV4, including the gear shift, steering wheel, rearview mirror, the glove box handle, and so forth, yet we have none. How is it possible for the owner of the vehicle not to leave any DNA behind in her own car? The RAV4 was found on the 5th. However, the license plates for it were not found until the 8th. And it was reported, according to William, while searching a car, he noticed the license plate that had been folded twice and were laying on the folded down back seat of an older station wagon. He indicated the license plates were toward the passenger side of the vehicle on the folded down seat. William reports he reached through the driver's side rear window and picked up the license plates. Why did he reach from the driver's side to pick something up from the passenger side of the vehicle? Saliva is often the preferred DNA source, as it's very rich in DNA. Let's look at some of the reports. At about 3:30 p.m., Special Agent Fassbender and Investigator Uyghur went back into the interview room and provided Steven with a Mountain Dew soda. Steven was asked if he wanted to talk, and he said he did not know what he was going to say. Steven asked them how come everything comes from Manitowoc, referencing the paperwork, and he was told because they were in Manitowoc County. It was pointed out that the paperwork was prepared by Calumet County officials. Special Agent Fassbender also showed him the complaint for his arrest warrant. There was some discussion about whether he would go to court tomorrow or not. There were also comments by Steven about how everything he does should just be recorded, because then he would not be a suspect. Question. They're arresting Steven. Who's going to take custody of his Mountain Dew soda with his DNA saliva on it? Interesting enough, when Zellner does her test on the hood swab, that's what you see, a very strong result, which happens to match exactly as if they swabbed Steven's mouth. There's also another way that contamination could have happened. Let's look at the trial testimony of an investigator. Question. Okay, so you didn't have to change your gloves then? Answer. I changed gloves from the time that I swabbed the door handles to the time that I went and did the hood latch. Question. When you opened the hood latch, did you change your gloves before you swabbed? Or you used the same gloves that you opened the hood latch? Answer. I think it was one process, I probably released it, had the cotton applicator, and immediately did the swab of the hood latch. Question. Thank you. As you can see, if he did not change his gloves when he was touching a place where the DNA of the suspect was already there, he cross-contaminated to the hood latch. So if the hood latch was used, what was the person doing under the hood? Investigator Mark Uyghur in July of 2006 contacted Kurt Judson, who would be the parts manager at Lemieux Toyota dealership of the city of Green Bay. He reported that his purpose was to determine what type of battery would have been in a 1999 Toyota RAV4. Kurt stated the battery would have been called a Group 35 battery, and the name on it would have been True Start. He states the battery is made for Toyota by Interstate Batteries, however, would not say Interstate on it. Now, if you look at this, you have two different mounts for the battery. The top one is a marine battery, and the bottom one is what should have been on. However, what we see here is a completely different mount for this vehicle. So, come to find out, Zellner says the battery has been changed, and Ms. Zellner also reported it's under warranty and it's been tracked back to who owns it. Why were the fingerprints of Lieutenant Link, Sergeant Colburn, and other potential suspects never compared to the 8 latent prints in the following places? 2 on the rear passenger windows. 3 on the pillar to the left side of the rear window above the taillight assembly. 1 on the side of the wheel cover. 1 next to where the key is inserted into the cargo gate. 1 on the hood, which would be left by someone trying to open the hood. None of these were Mr. Avery's, as he was eliminated from the suspect list of these fingerprints. Whose fingerprints and palm prints, whose latent prints are these? Who was touching the RAV? Many people have questioned what object is in the front driver wheel well. Is it a beehive? Is it tire sealant? Or is it a tow strap? This is a photograph that was taken of the RAV4 while it's in storage. And it brings some questions. Now, the coloring may be the reflection of the wooden wall. However, the crinkling of the metal is defined enough to cast shadows. Why was this photo taken? What has caused the damage to the passenger side of the RAV4? Is this why there were boards and debris hiding this side? Why was this not detailed and investigated and brought up in the trial? With all the damage seen on the RAV4, the Carfax states no accident or damage had ever been reported. But when Ryan Hillegas was questioned by Fassbender, he stated he did some checking with family and friends and reported back that Halbach had indeed damaged the parking lot area of her car and actually made an insurance claim, which he took the cash payout and had not repaired it. Interesting enough, Ms. Zellner went on to correct that and stated Mr. Hillegas intentionally diverted investigators by reporting that the damage to the driver's side bumper and parking light of Mrs. Halbach's RAV4 occurred months before her disappearance and that she had filed an insurance claim for the damage. Current post-conviction counsel, through its investigator, has confirmed that Ms. Halbach never filed an insurance claim for this damage to her vehicle, and further contends the damage to Ms. Halbach's vehicle occurred as she left the Avery property on October 31st, 2005. So again, Ryan lies. The evidence in this case is so questionable, even suspicious. We have conflict of interest, and we have suspects that are not even investigated. Now, Ms. Zellner, she went ahead and bought a RAV4 because the state of Wisconsin held it from her. Now, you gotta wonder, why would they keep the RAV4 from her? Just brings up one among a million questions as we continue on through the saga of Steve Avery, Teresa Halbach case.
You can tell yourself and all our friends I was wrong and you were right. But your sins that happened in the dark will come out in the light. I'm not gonna waste my breath, I won't put up a fight. 'Cause the days are gonna whisper and the months are gonna talk until the years yell out the truth. Time will tell, time will tell on you. When a train whistles far away, and when the cold wind blows, when the lightning in your eyes reveals the darkness in your soul, the world will be reminded of what it already knows. 'Cause the days are gonna whisper and the months are gonna talk until the years yell out the truth. Time will tell, time will tell on you. No one may ever say a thing, but surely as the seasons change, you feel like every finger points at you, 'cause you're to blame.